So we have previously seen how to look at the controller that we synthesized by looking at the concrete controller. Then we've seen how to simulate a controller using the controller walker in case of a symbolic controller, but now we also want to look at how to execute the controller of our reactive system to actually have it run in some piece of code. So what we will do is we start off again with a specification. Here is a simple traffic light specification. It has even some assumptions and guarantees removed to be the very basics. And now to simulate this, we will use a symbolic controller, but now we will use the just-in-time symbolic controller because this scales better for even larger systems. So we will now synthesize a just-in-time symbolic controller, and we will see the out folder appear. And now the out folder has a little bit of different files, but now we don't want to load this in a plugin. We really want to run it programmatically. So we will have a look at a very basic command line based simulator. And what we need to do is we first need to read the inputs that the environment would usually provide us, and then we need to feed this to the controller, and eventually we will read the outputs that the controller produced. So in our case, this is the whole application that loads the controller. It's just 60 lines of code, and the main lines of code that we need to look at is the controller executor. We need to load the controller from this folder out. That's always very much the same line. The only thing we need to add to the build path of our Java application is this executor.jar. We might want to have the native libraries CUDD or the Linux-based version. We don't really need these. It will also work just pure Java based, but it will be a little bit faster if we have these native libraries. But the main thing we need is this jar file. We add it to the build path, and then the controller executor that is from this jar file. So this line is important, and then what we need to do is we need to feed the controller with the inputs. So the way we feed the controller is always string based. So we give the names, we give a map of the name of a variable and the value of the variable. So all the input variables, we can put them in a map inputs, and then we can tell the executor that this is the initial state when we run the executor when we execute it for the first time. And if it's not the first time, then we just say update state, and then that's the current inputs received. Update state and initial state will do the calculation to calculate the outputs. We can simply ask the executor for the current value of the specific variables. So here in this case we had the environment variables car A and car B. So these are our inputs. This is what we put in the inputs or in the map of the inputs with the corresponding values. They are Boolean. So here we put simply true and false, or the Boolean to string basically. For enumeration values, you would put the string of the enumeration value. For integers, you would still have to put the integer to string version like we do here for the Booleans. Yeah, so this is how we provide the inputs, and then the outputs, we simply ask the executor to get us the outputs. And that's it for executing the symbolic controller. So all the other stuff that you see in this file, this is just, we start by printing whether car A is present, reading the next line, converting this to a Boolean, just to show you how it would work if you want to feed your controller actually with the real data types, the Boolean here in this case. So we get two Booleans for car A and car B. Then we feed this to the controller, and then in the end we read the values, and then based on which values are true and false, we give some outputs. So now let's execute this. We have synthesized the symbolic controller. Now we can run this traffic simulator simply as the main method. So question is a car present for A? Let's say there is one. let's say there is one for B, then it would allow car B to go. Now let's continue. Cars are again both present. Then it would allow car A to go. So here, yeah, the default, I'm simply checking whether it's N for no car there. So now let's put N, no car. Car A would still be allowed to go. That's fine. All cars must stop now. Yeah, if we don't have cars, this controller will have the car stop, but there's actually nothing that requires this in the, I think there's nothing that requires this in the specification. The only thing we want, again, that there are no cars on green A and green B. So yeah, this is how you would integrate it into an application, and we have here integrated it into an even a little bit more visual way. So let's stop this one on the command line, and what you see here is basically, again, inputs and outputs. Again, this is the first time we load the controller, and then we say the initial state is based on these inputs, and then again we have this loop that just now takes random car A and car B inputs, gives them to the executor, and then takes the green A and green B as outputs. So if we want to run this one, this is a bit more fancy. Then we will soon see the cars coming. So now there's no real input-output. Well, there is input-output for the controller, but now it's not interactive based on the user, because here we just generate random inputs and outputs when the cars are there. But as you saw in the previous example, we can, or we should usually have it based on inputs or events or other data that comes in from other systems. So that's, for example, when we run it on robots, then the inputs that we give to the controller, this would really be stuff that we measured using sensors and abstracted then to the the kind of values that we need for running the controllers. Now, the task for this would be to extend the specification that we had here in E2 and extend the execution with an additional input variable emergency, and then a guarantee that in case of emergency both lights are red. So this emergency would be a Boolean variable, and the extension would have to happen in the specification. So here you would have a new environment variable with the emergency, and then you would have a guarantee that if emergency is true, then green A and green B are both false. And the next step would then be to extend the command line simulation to handle this new input. So instead of taking the two inputs of car A and car B, we also take the emergency input and feed it to the controller. So this would be the task.